Imagine a young professional in Dublin, perhaps a software engineer or a specialised nurse, whose contributions keep the nation's high-tech economy thriving. In years past, their story might have been one of frustration. But as we enter 2026, the narrative is shifting toward a profound structural evolution. We are witnessing a moment where the Irish state has moved beyond reactive measures to engineer a resilient, optimistic future. By treating housing as a national engineering challenge rather than a speculative market, Ireland is providing a global blueprint for how a modern economy can reconcile growth with the fundamental needs of its citizens. This is the story of a nation reclaiming its agency, modernising its landscape, and ensuring that the dream of a secure home is becoming a tangible reality for a new generation. 1. The Delivering Homes Mandate. The primary engine of change in 2026 is the National Action Plan titled Delivering Homes, Building Communities, which covers the period up to 2030. This strategy is not merely a statement of intent, but a fully funded mandate aiming for the construction of 300,000 new homes. We are seeing a massive state intervention, with 72,000 social homes and 90,000 affordable supports at the core of the project. By committing €50 billion in investment, the Irish government has effectively positioned itself as a primary catalyst for supply. This level of fiscal dedication ensures that construction remains a top-tier national priority, providing the necessary certainty for both the private sector and public agencies to scale up their operations in a way that was previously unthinkable. 2. The Planning Renaissance. The establishment of An Coimisiún Pleanála as the successor to the old planning board has marked a tectonic shift in how development is managed. This new national body operates under a strategic plan for 2026 to 2028, focusing on efficiency and the highest professional ethics to restore public trust. By introducing mandatory timelines and a more agile, development-focused organisation, the state has significantly reduced the legal and bureaucratic purgatory that previously stalled vital housing projects. This reform means that plan-led development is now the reality, where infrastructure and housing are designed in tandem. It provides a stable environment where long-term urban visions can be executed without the constant friction of unpredictable delays. 3. The Industrialisation of Construction. Ireland is aggressively pivoting toward modern methods of construction, or MMC, to solve the historical bottleneck of labour-intensive building. In 2026, we see a significant portion of new housing being delivered via factory-based manufacturing, where modular units are assembled in controlled environments before being transported to sites. This shift reduces weather-related delays and ensures a level of thermal efficiency and quality control that traditional methods struggle to match. As productivity in the sector begins to rise, the factory model is proving to be a scalable solution for both emergency accommodation and high-quality residential blocks. It is a technological leap that turns construction into a high-tech manufacturing process, attracting a new generation of digital-savvy workers to the industry. 4. The rise of auxiliary dwellings. A fascinating development in 2026 is the update to planning exemptions that empowers homeowners to maximise their own residential space. New regulations allow for the addition of detached auxiliary habitable dwellings between 32 and 45 square metres without the need for traditional planning permission. This move acknowledges that the most efficient way to increase density is often through the sensitive adaptation of existing suburban landscapes. These small, high-quality units provide an elegant solution for multi-generational living or the rental market, essentially unlocking hidden capacity within our own gardens. It is a pragmatic and optimistic approach to urban density that gives families autonomy over their living spaces while rapidly increasing the national housing stock. 5. The rural refurbishment surge. The Croix-Connotha scheme has seen a remarkable expansion in 2026, now encompassing commercial properties and over-the-shop residential units in rural towns. This grant system is breathing new life into the historic hearts of Irish villages by providing up to €70,000 for the refurbishment of derelict or vacant properties. The transition to a streamlined online application portal in March 2026 has cut processing times significantly, allowing property owners to bring abandoned buildings back into use with unprecedented speed. This policy is not just about housing. It is about revitalising regional communities and ensuring that the Irish landscape is defined by vibrant, lived-in town centres rather than hollowed-out dereliction. 6. Scaling the cost rental model. Affordability for the squeezed middle is being addressed through the massive scaling of the cost rental model, where rents are pegged to the actual cost of building and maintaining the property. In 2026, this model is no longer a pilot project, but a pillar of the national housing system, offering long-term security for tenants who do not qualify for traditional social housing. These tenancies provide a stable alternative to the volatility of the private market, with rents typically 25% below market rates. By decoupling a significant portion of the rental market from speculative profit, Ireland is creating a buffer that protects workers from global economic shocks and ensures that living in major cities remains viable for essential service providers. 7. The Land Development Agency's mandate. The Land Development Agency has emerged as a high-authority vehicle for managing public land, with its capital increased to nearly €9 billion. By 2026, the agency is actively developing thousands of homes on state-owned land, ensuring that public resources are used for the common good rather than private gain. This strategic use of the state's land bank allows for the creation of large-scale, integrated communities that include schools, parks, and transport links from the outset. It represents a move toward a more sophisticated form of urbanism, where the government takes a proactive role in shaping the physical environment to foster social cohesion and economic stability. 8. Bridging the skills gap. To support the infrastructure required for projects like the Metrolink and the National Housing Target, Ireland has launched a comprehensive Skills for the Future initiative. Experts suggest that up to 80,000 additional workers are needed across the construction and supply chains by 2026. The state is responding with a massive expansion of apprenticeships and the integration of robotics into the building process. This is not just about filling jobs, it is about transforming the construction industry into a high-wage, technologically advanced sector. By training the workforce in green building techniques and digital design, Ireland is ensuring that its economic recovery is built on a foundation of local expertise and sustainable practices. 9. The green building transition. The transposition of the recast Energy Performance of Buildings Directive in 2026 has set a new global standard for the Irish housing stock. All new buildings must now be near zero emission, and the National Retrofit Programme is on track to upgrade 500,000 homes by 2030. This initiative is supported by low-interest green loans and the expansion of tax deductions for small landlords who improve their properties' energy ratings. This shift is turning the housing crisis into a climate opportunity, lowering energy costs for households and significantly reducing the nation's carbon footprint. It is a testament to the optimistic view that we can solve our social needs while simultaneously protecting our environmental future. 10. The Housing First philosophy. Finally, we must look at how Ireland is tackling the most acute end of the crisis through the Housing First strategy. In 2026, the focus has shifted from temporary emergency shelters to providing permanent, supported housing for those experiencing homelessness. Despite the challenges of record numbers in emergency accommodation earlier in the year, the increased delivery of social housing is beginning to provide a long-term exit path. By prioritising the provision of a secure home as the first step in social recovery, Ireland is demonstrating a commitment to human dignity and social justice. This approach proves that a successful economy is not measured by its wealth alone, but by its ability to protect its most vulnerable citizens. Conclusion: a blueprint for resilience. In conclusion, the narrative of Irish housing in 2026 is one of a nation that has successfully transitioned from a state of crisis into a period of profound structural engineering. By modernising the planning system, embracing industrialised construction, and reclaiming the public land bank, Ireland is crafting an optimistic and equitable landscape. We see a society that is no longer a bystander to global capital flows, but an active architect of its own future. If you wish to explore these themes further, we invite you to watch our previous investigation, The French Housing Crisis in 2026, where we examine why owning a home became an elusive dream for millions in France. At World Perspective, we remain dedicated to mapping the solutions that will define the global social contract. If the survival of a stable democracy depends on the total death of the housing crisis, are we prepared to treat the provision of a home as a basic utility, just like water or electricity, regardless of the impact on property prices?